So, good morning to everyone. I'm delighted to present in this Global Reach Conference. So, I am Vishnu Priya. I'm a PhD scholar in Tamil Nadu Agriculture University, and my chairman is Dr. Balakrishnan. So, my research is on effect of atmospheric pressure coal plasma on the quality parameters of coconut Neera. So to start with the background, so coconut Neera. So my research is basically on coconut Neera. So it is a coconut inflorescent sap. It is a sweet, non-alcoholic, nutritious health drink. So which is enriched with sugars, minerals, vitamins, proteins, etc. So it is basically a sap which we are getting from the inflorescence of the coconut palm. So this is one of the most remunerative commodity for the farmers. So they can convert into a variety of value-added products can be prepared from this sap. So the pictures which I have shown is the process of collecting the sap from the coconut palm. So the process we call it as tapping. So it is a method tapping. It is a method of collecting the sap from the matured spadix of the coconut palm. So farmers they traditionally collect by using a wooden tool by tying the inflorescence with a rope, and they do a beating process, pounding process. So after this is for about 2 weeks they'll be doing, and we get the sap after 2 weeks of period. So to collect this kind of sap, farmers are using earthen pot, which is coated with lime on its inner layer. So the major problem with the sap is it is a highly fermentable product. So it is highly fermentable in nature because the sap it comes in contact with the air, and the process of fermentation is initiated, and this will lead to a product called toddy, which is an alcoholic product. So the problem which I face with this sap is fermentation. So that is mainly due to biochemical and microbial changes. So there are some three stages of fermentation which I have shown in the presentation. It is lactic acid fermentation, alcoholic fermentation, and acetic acid fermentation. So the major players which contribute to this fermentation are lactic acid bacteria, yeast, and acetic acid bacteria. So this will changes will cause some disaggregable volatile property, foggy appearance. So this will affect the quality of the sap. So conventionally, uh, people are following thermal treatments. So thermal treatment will affect the quality of the product. It imparts some cooked flavor. So we are moving into the emerging technology like coal plasma technology. So coal plasma is one of the innovative, novel, and recently developing area. So plasma, we know it is the fourth state of matter. So this kind of coal plasma technology, it has a lot of benefits. Like it is a quick process. It improves the effectiveness of the product quality, and also retention of product features like nutrient content, organoleptic quality, all will be retained. So the plasma, you can see the figure. This is the setup which I have applied to my product. So this is the system. It comprises of plasma torch, upper rod type electrode, ring type ground electrode, and high voltage power supply is there. So there are basically two electrodes. So that is encapsulated inside a quartz tube to prevent arc transition, and this was positioned inside a glass tube. So there are cathode. Below the cathode, there is a ring type copper electrode is there, which was placed around the capillary tube, and this was connected to the ground. So here we are using dielectric substance, this polypropylene, so that will isolate the electrode from one another. So you can see the pink color one is the plasma. So below that there is a sample holder. So we place our coconut sap, and the distance between the plasma and the coconut sample is about 5 mm. So we apply plasma treatment. So so as I told, there are electrodes are there. This electrode will be connected to power supply, and for generating this plasma, we are using organ gas. So organ gas was used as a plasma generating gas, and with a constant flow rate of about 20 standard cubic centimeter per minute. So this was fed in between the electrode and the coconut sap, as I told. So we are applying the voltage, different voltage, about 20 kilo voltage to 30 kilovolt, and the treatment time we are using is 2 to 5 minutes. And for the treatments combination, we are using response surface methodology. It is a statistical analysis which we are applying, and we get some different kind of treatment combinations we get, and that we are applying to the sample. Can see, so these are the results which I'm obtained from the plasma treatment. So first, to start with the microbial load. So initially, as I told, the sap contains lot of microbial organisms. So I have studied total plate count, so how much the total colony count I have done, and then yeast count, because yeast is one of the major organism, and then lactic acid bacteria. These are the three organisms which I have observed after treatment and before treatment. So the results, it gave me that total plate count, yeast count, and lactic acid bacteria count, they started to decrease as the applied voltage and time increases. So the maximum reduction was about 3.05 log cycle in a total plate count, and the yeast count, the reduction is 2.7, and in lactic acid bacteria, the count reduction is 2.99 log cycles, which was observed at 30 kilovolts. So you can see this is the response surface graph. Bottom you can see it is the voltage and time, and the y-axis is the count, colony count. So it was started to decreasing as the voltage increases. So the reason for reduction in microbial count is formation of reactive species. So the plasma, it will produce some reactive species, so that will affect the bacterial cells. So it will cause some alteration in the structural and functional characteristics of the cell, and finally it leads to cell death. So because of that, we get a log reduction. And about coming to quality, the main component which is found in coconut sap is sugars. So it has about 15% sugars are found in this coconut sap. And when we increase the voltage above 30, the sugar started to decrease. There was some degradation in the total sugar content. So the reason for that is due to plasma treatment. It will disturb the cell matrix and sugars, and that may be the reason for alteration in sugar content. Also, we can see there is some increase in reducing sugar. I have observed total sugar and reducing sugar. So there was some increase in reducing sugar, that is due to breakdown of sucrose. So sucrose hydrolysis was observed. So because of hydrolysis, the sucrose gets converted into glucose and fructose. So because of that, there was some increase in reducing sugar. And then the third one is turbidity. So fresh coconut sap, it has high degree of turbidity. So that is mainly because of lactic acid bacteria species. The reason is this species, it creates some gum-like substance called dextrin. So that will be generated by the species, and that contributes to high turbidity. Also, it will affect the color of the product. So after plasma treatment, the turbidity was reduced. It is about 18.7 NTU, that is the turbidity value at 30 kilovoltage plasma. So the reason for decrease in turbidity is due to reduction in total amount of dissolved and suspended particles. So that is the reason. And fourth one is viscosity. The fourth graph indicates viscosity. So it is one of the more important rheological property for judging the quality of the product. So with the increase in the applied voltage and treatment time, the viscosity was found to be slightly reduced. There is and it because of some structural alteration. So that causes shear thinning behavior was observed in the final product. And these are the results which I have observed at the optimum. So as I told, statistical analysis I have used is response surface methodology, and from that analysis I will get the optimized process parameter. So voltage about 30 kilovolt and time 2 minutes. So this was found to be the best treatment, and these are the results obtained at the optimized parameter. So I have the pH. There was some slight changes in the pH and TSS. Not much change, only slight point change was observed. Then total and reducing sugar, as I shown in the graph, turbidity, viscosity, the parameters which I observed. Also, I have observed the enzyme activity. So there was some reduction in enzyme activity also, and uh, also the values for total plate count, yeast count, and lactic acid bacteria count I have given in this table. So these are the results which I observed in the uh, process.